Hello, dwellers, and welcome to a video. And then that shows up.
I'm very hungry.
He's very hungry. Oh, God!
Hungry.
No way. No goddamn way.
I'm very hungry.
Why are you
Hungry. Hungry. I'm very hungry.
What you just saw were very small glimpses of a game called Pumkin Land, an educational game for kids. And yes, it's not a typo for me, that's how pumpkin is actually spelled, and not just the title, but every instance of the word in the game. To attempt to explain the existence of this game, I will be separating it into 5 sections. What, when, who, why, and how. Yeah, we're going back to primary school for this, which is pretty fitting now that I think about it. Each word will be expanded upon as we go along. Now let's dive into this absolute nightmare of a game. Pumkin Land is an educational flash game. It has 8 minigames in total. Art in the games are crudely drawn, and the educational aspect of the games are very questionable. The game was originally hosted on 2008.pumkin.com, but the website no longer exists. Here I will be describing and giving my commentary on each of the 8 minigames found in Pumkin Land. First game is the color game. In this game, you click on disembodied pumpkins of different colors. When you click on them, they jump and say the color that they are. For some reason, when you click them, they have a very sus expression. The game goes on and adds more colored pumpkins as you click over and over. Kinda like the House Flash games, which kinda have a similar vibe. It does eventually sorta end, with the pumpkins suddenly disappearing and falling from the sky. There seems to be a max of 11, being the colors black, white, gray, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, brown, and pink. Second game is the clothes game. You bully this pumpkin lady with a dead stare, along with the crow by making her clothes fly off the clothesline. With how long this game goes on for, you'd think that she'd learn to give up because she's gonna lose all her clothes. Which all look like clothes she can't even wear. Who wears these clothes? Anyway, the game is about clicking the correct article of clothing that the crow says. Crow says t-shirt, click the t-shirt. Crow says jacket, click the jacket. There's also a timer for how long it takes you to complete the game, but I don't get the purpose of it because it doesn't save what times you gotten. Same goes for the other games, but they have a points counter instead of a timer, which are also not recorded. So unless you go out of your way to write it down yourself, there's no point to the timer. I don't think any kid would care enough to keep track of that, especially the demographic of kids for this collection. Third game is vegetables. Before I even start the game, I'm surprised that the title is spelled correctly. Also, they include tomatoes. Tomatoes aren't vegetables. I know that's nitpicky, but this is an educational game, so you're basically misinforming kids who play this game. The game is about helping a blind rabbit find and eat different vegetables. He asks if there is any particular vegetable. You say yes or no, and you will lead him to the vegetable he wants. I had one where he asked if there were carrots twice in a row when I said no. He must also have ADHD, relatable. This is actually the best game so far. Aside from the issue with the tomatoes being included, it teaches kids what vegetables are which and what they are called. It also has a bit of counting in it. The rabbit does eat a lot in this game though, so I hope it doesn't make him sick. Fourth game is Barnyard Disco. This hip and cool pumpkin is a farmer with style and hip-hop. It's just another clicky game again. The cover of Old MacDonald Had a Farm loops in the background as the pumpkin says the names of the farm animals, prompting the player to click on them and the animal will make a sound. Pumpkin has no rhythm though, so he just randomly says the name and you click. First time I played, when the game ended, the animals disappeared and the pumpkin just started flapping its mouth. I don't know if this was how it was when the original upload was still up, but this is how the game plays on the emulator. The other games have been a bit broken as well. Fifth game is in, on, over, under. This weirdly suggestive alligator with a fat-ass head tells you to put things in, on, over, and under things. She told me to put the cat in the trash can. Sixth game is the fruits game. This one is pretty short compared to the others. The pumpkin asks you if you like a particular fruit, with his eyes rolling in the back of his head. Depending on if you say yes or no, you click on the fruit and the pumpkin catches it in his basket or bonks it away with the bottom. Not much to this one. Seventh game is numbers. This one is actually pretty creepy. You're in a moory-ass room with several nearly identical pumpkins staring vacantly. You're playing a piano that has enormous keys and small fruits with numbers falling on them. No tomatoes though. I was a bit confused by this game at first. I know that sounds stupid, it's a kid's game, but the guy talking says the numbers in order as they fall on the keys, then says them out of order for the keys of the tune. Sure, it makes a cool little tune when you're done clicking the numbers, but you're saying the numbers out of order. You just have the numbers in the order of how the keys should be played and it won't ruin the game. It would also make it less confusing for kids, and me apparently. But yeah, for a collection of games that are already unsettling, this one takes the cake. I feel bad for any kid who actually found and played this. I know it would have scared me. Doesn't help that a lot of the time there's just silence with wind. Probably just a bug. The eighth and final game is Hungry Pumpkin. Oh boy, best for last. How is it? Well, imagine this. An anthropumpkin, known as Pumkin, waltzes into the restaurant you work at. He sits at the counter. He demands food. No, not just food. Water, pepper, sticks of butter. He'll eat glass containers. But that doesn't stop him. He's too powerful. His hunger is insatiable. He doesn't stop asking for food, but you keep giving him every single item. Give him the hot dog. Give him the soda. Give him the salt. Give him the hamburger. Give him your life. Then he leaves. But on a serious note, I think this game is the opposite of educational. Who would have thought? Sure, it teaches the names of foods, but it also indirectly teaches kids to literally shove away food that they don't like or want. Which, you know, wasting food like that is bad behavior. I know that some people can have different tastes and can't eat certain foods, like having sensory issues or allergies, but this doesn't portray that, and nor does it help teach kids anything good. So that's what Pumkin Land and all its games are. It's a strange collection of games, barely educational. It's pretty poorly made and uncanny, sorta harmless, aside from the errors, like the tomatoes. So that's where this book closes.
But I'm not done yet!
There's still more to be learned, so let's see all of what Pumkin Land has to offer, outside the game itself. Pumkin Land came out in 2008 and was developed by Little Vince 104. I've tried looking them up to learn more about them, but I've found only dead accounts, a Newgrounds account, and a YouTube channel. The Newgrounds has just 2 games, one being Hungry Pumpkin, which I couldn't get past the food screen up on playing, or that I was just being dumb. Second game is the Run and Gun Tech Demo, which is certainly something. The account hasn't uploaded since 2013, but it's slightly just a mimic account and unrelated to the developer. The YouTube channel has some random videos all around a few minutes long. Some are YouTube hoops, while others are clips of the person recording games from a camera. There are no socials attached to the channel, and the only thing in the bio is, I am the ultimate gamer. I love games, but these are some of the worst videos on YouTube. This channel doesn't seem to be connected to the NG account and hasn't uploaded since 2012. There's no way to PM these accounts, and even if there was, these accounts haven't been active in several years. And there also seems to not be any other leads for getting in contact with the developer. Now, this isn't an invitation to go and harass these people or other people trying to figure out who's who. But if anyone has a lead, let me know by leaving a comment on this video or contacting me on other socials. It'll be a lot better than a bunch of people all just crowding around this person. As I stated earlier, I'm not even exactly sure who made the game, so it would of course be a bit hard to know why it was made. All we can assume is that it's an attempt at creating an educational game for small children. Other than that, it's pretty unknown what motives the developer had, other than giving nightmares, of course. While not as well known now, Pumkin Land was relatively popular in the 2010s in YouTube poops. Of course, mostly thanks to the Hungry Pumpkin minigame. YouTuber Caveman Films also made a video on it in 2012, playing every minigame and of course being pretty put off by it. This video is actually how I found out about the game long ago. The video stands at over 2 million views and certainly took part in popularizing Pumkin Land in the YouTube poop community. So that's all I can say about Pumkin Land. Well, maybe not everything, but it would just be repetitive at this point. The origin of this game seems to be clouded in mystery, and since the game is over a decade old, a Flash game, and the developer has seemingly disappeared, we may never know.
You just don't listen. It's like you got a problem with concentration. You understand what I'm saying?
No,